Hi, do you sell screwdrivers?
Yes, only for $2. On your right, choose your mode of payment. Okay.
Debit, credit card, bank transfer, cash on delivery. Shucks, which should I choose? Help.
Today on LitePsych, we're going to talk about your payment methods and how it affects your susceptibility to spend for your shopping needs. Research has shown that the way you choose for a product affects the way you view your money and your decision making when it comes to your purchases. If you're a seller or a business, this is important to you because you want to choose the payment method that will enable the best user experience for your customers. And if you are a customer, this is important to you because how you pay will affect how much more you're likely to spend. And it just makes you more aware of your spending habits. To understand how all this happens, you have to take a look at payment technologies. Payment technology facilitates the transfer of money between retailers and consumers. The psychological effects of payment technologies come from three factors. The first is the payment mechanism, literally how the payment is made. So some examples of this would be cash or the RFID, and this is important with the emerging technology on how payment can be made. The second factor to consider is what we call the psychology of consumption. The main prediction in this field of psychology is that people don't like spending because it reduces their wealth and because of the process itself. Here, people are understood to experience the pain of paying, which refers to the negative emotions that you feel when you're making a purchase. This varies with payment technology because depending on how you pay, there is a different payment timing and there is a different forgettability of transaction. Payment timing refers to knowing when to pay, whether immediately or monthly or biannually. And forgettability of transactions is when people forget to pay on time or that when they forget what they purchased or that they purchased anything to begin with. Lastly, the psychological effects of payment technologies come from a user's perception on the payment technology, particularly on the issue of safety and security. Now, here's what they found. People spend more money when the payment system allows them to postpone their transactions, such as when you use your credit card or when you use a card linked to your credit card. So, people who make purchases that immediately reduce their balance, whether it be in cash or through debit transactions, actually spend less. Your ability to remember your previous purchases also affects your future purchase decisions. When you fail to accurately recall the amount that you've spent in a prior transaction, then you're more likely to spend more on your current or your next purchase. If you think about it, if you don't remember how much you've already spent, that means you won't be worrying so much about how much money you have. And therefore, you won't be too concerned about the money that you're going to spend. However, when you're confident about the amount you've spent in your previous transactions, this makes you more cautious about your current and your future purchases. Speaking of which, the means of payment also affects your memory of how much you've spent. Compared to people who use cash, those who spend their credit cards are more forgetful of the total amount that they've spent. This is because when you're paying with cash, you're in a process where you have to count the money that you're going to use and take them out from your wallet, making it just easier to remember. Paying with credit cards is just simple. You just swipe it and give the card away, and there is no opportunity for you to digest and savor the money that you're giving away. However, paying with cash doesn't exempt your memory from being forgetful. For example, when we're faced with a bill of $98, we often pay in excess and give $100 and get change in return. And because we often give an excess and just get change, the memory of how much exactly the purchase was actually becomes hazier for us. The same logic of being easier to remember for cash applies to check, because you have to write the amount that you're going to spend on and even verbalize it into words. The study also specifically looked at an emerging form of payment, particularly used in Hong Kong, where this study focused on, and it's an octopus card. Basically, an octopus card is a stored smart value card that you can use for everywhere, for transportation, for shopping, etc. Octopus card users show less precision when recalling the amount of money that they spent when compared to cash users, but more research is still needed on this. You also become more aware of your transactions depending on your perceived security of the payment method that you're using. Although the effect is small, if you consider the payment method to be more secure and more reliable, you are more likely to purchase more often. And this is particularly true for online shopping. The amount of money you spend is also often overlooked when you feel comfortable in a safe and secure payment method. Interestingly enough, whether or not you find a payment method to be convenient has no effect on the amount of money that you're going to spend. It's important to note that the results of this study was based on an experiment done in supermarkets. So when we talk about the pain of paying, it's going to be drastically different for luxury stores because buying a watch is going to be different to buying your everyday necessities. There are a lot more to unpack in this study, and if you want to read it for yourself, we're leaving the source in the description. But the main takeaways that we want you to remember are these. The payment method that you use matters, both in how you recall the amount you've spent and your willingness on how much you're going to spend for your current and future transactions. As a user, this gives you more options to be more creative when trying to alter your spending patterns. Maybe it might mean using cash for the stuff that you don't want to buy as much and leaving things that need to be done anyway, like bills, on credit cards so that you don't have to think about it as much. Follow us at LitePsych on Instagram and hit the subscribe and notification bell so you never miss out on the latest psychology and simple terminology. This is Jim. Thanks for watching.